Do you like to eat mold?
No.
Everybody likes mold. You wake up, walk downstairs, go into the kitchen. What do? You grab your favorite bag of mold out the fridge and you eat it for breakfast. Great way to start the day.
That's why I've decided to grow my own. Now, I've chosen to grow my mold on bread because, well, mold is commonly found on bread. And bread is pretty bland and mold will add flavor. Now, there are 3 requirements to growing mold. That is time, humidity, and heat. And the only place that has all 3 of those is my bearded dragon's cage.
Bread.
I mean, it's just bread. Nothing much really happened. And Harper's just confused. Still, nothing changed. So now I think it would be a good time to put it under a microscope to see what it looks like before the yummy cotton candy grows on top of it. Now, my microscope needs the substance to be in a liquid for it to see it well. And, well, I mean, as you can tell, bread doesn't really look like a liquid, at first glance at least. So you get a capsule, you fill it with water, then you extract a tiny little piece of bread, and then put it into that capsule full of water. And be careful too, because if you mess this process up, your house will spontaneously combust. And then you shake it. Alright, so after that, you get this little glass slide, and you just want to pour a nice little droplet onto it. And then you put it on the microscope and you see what you got. So, all I was able to see under my microscope was these goofy looking little circles. And turns out that these are yeast organisms. They're not moving probably because they're dead after shaking them up. So, this is what our bread would actually look like if there's mold on it. Now, there are 3 common types of mold. But the one we'll be focusing on is asparagus, yeah. Now, as you can see, they have a bunch of spores on the top, and as a rough estimate, I'd say they have about more than 1, maybe. And they're connected to these tubes called stolons, which are then connected to thousands of tiny microscopic tubes called rhizoids, which go all across your bread and make you sick. I mean, add flavor, yeah. I mean, the bread is just hard enough to the point where if I bang it on this rock, it sounds like hammer to wood. I'm trying to grow mold, not croutons. So mold is a plant, or close enough to one. Like any other plant, you need to water it. So that's exactly what I did. I watered my bread. And then now we just let it sit. Alright, so skip to day 10 and we finally have mold. Now, the reason you don't see Harper in the cage is because she unfortunately died to mold poison. I mean, the flavor goodness of mold. She just could not handle how good it tasted. Alright, so I put it under a microscope, and I decided not to put it in water because it was just too hard to be delicate enough to where you would still be able to see it in the water. So we just have the plain bread, and as you can see, there's black dots and connected to stolons, but no spores yet because this mold is too young. We would see green splotches on the bread if there were actually spores, but it's just black. But not to be confused with black mold, this is still aspergillus, or asparagus, as I like to say.
Alright, so now it's time to taste it. But what's good bread without some sugar first? Just gonna sprinkle that on there. Alright. I'm gonna get a good bite out of the moldy part. So So you can really taste the moldy starchiness of it all, and the fermented bread flavor.